This camp is home to 25 to 30,000 refugees. Most of them have fled the battle against the Islamic State's so-called caliphate. To one side, there is a special section fenced off from the rest and watched closely by Kurdish soldiers. Here, everyone is searched, even the children.
You speak English? Ou le français, tu parles français ou bien anglais?
These women are foreign jihadi brides who traveled to Syria during the Islamic State's heyday. They fled or surrendered in the last phases of battle. Their husbands are either still fighting dead or in prison. In all, 500 families from around the world.
I'm from Trinidad.
Canada.
روسكي؟ فيها نص فرنسي نص ألماني.
من سعودية.
I'm Brazilian from Germany.
I'm German. I have German passport still with me.
These women are not allowed to leave the camp or have telephones. Are they refugees or prisoners? Their legal situation is unclear. They all complain about life in the camp.
On peut pas dire que ça va bien. Tu vois qu'on est comme des chiens. Les chiens mieux que nous, non?
Vivre ici, il n'y a pas,
c'est des chiens comme... je vais te montrer les toilettes.
We have a lot of problems in this camp. We're short on everything. We lack water, food, bathrooms, toilets. The conditions are terrible. It's all because the UNHCR gives us nothing for them.
For the Kurds who run the camp, some of these women are clearly dangerous.
We thought we could put them together with the Syrians and the Iraqis, that they would adapt, but they're ferocious. They burnt some of the Syrians' tents. They would call them kuffars, infidels. They consider themselves as the only true Muslims, so we had to separate them.
Most of these women claim they've abandoned the Islamic State's ideology.
Nous sommes changés. On ne peut pas dire que nous ne sommes pas des دواعش avant. Oui, nous êtes avant des دواعش. احنا لما هاجرنا احنا كنا نعشق حاجة اسمها دولة إسلامية. احنا حبينا الدولة كدولة وحبينا البغدادي كبغدادي. حبيناه سبحان الله. لما أتينا أنا أحكي لك بصراحة لما جينا لسوريا احنا جينا لدولة إسلام على أساس حتقوم على منهاج النبوة وحبينا البغدادي وحبيناه في الله وحبينا الخلافة وبذلنا أبنائنا ودمائنا وكل على أساس الإسلام يرجع من جديد. الإسلام تاع رسول محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. الإسلام ما كانش بيقتل الأطفال هيك الظلم هيك ليس مش هيك.
In their defense, most of these women insist they didn't know what they were getting into. Like Kimberly, a 46-year-old Canadian who has just arrived in the camp after 3.5 years in the caliphate.
Yeah.
I came for humanitarian reasons. I actually didn't know a lot about what she would refer to as Daesh. I didn't know a lot about the organization itself. I just knew that they were big and that as an Islamic organization at the time, they were doing some really good things. I don't think that negates the negatives, but I mean, I tried to leave and they put me in prison when I tried, so I ended up being trapped.
You have to ask the woman to come in.
Yeah, can you just ask them to veil?
When Kimberly moved to the caliphate mid-2015, the Jihadi terror campaign was well underway.
Yes, I knew about Charlie Hebdo, yeah. But again, we'd had an attack on Canadian soil as well. I chalked it up to being a handful of individual lone wolves that were kind of acting on their own.
This large tent is for newcomers. Amongst them, a French woman, Mathilde. She says she was disappointed with life in the caliphate and shocked by certain practices, such as the enslavement of Yazidi women.
Après, malheureusement, c'est comme tout, vous vous y habituez. C'est comme les bombes, c'est comme les décapitations. Malheureusement, vous vous habituez. Mais au départ, oui, quand vous arrivez et que vous voyez... Enfin, moi, j'ai pas vu personnellement, mais quand vous savez qu'il y a des femmes qui sont vendues, au départ, ça fait franchement bizarre. Et vous savez que tel frère, il a tant d'esclaves, honnêtement, ça fait bizarre.
Their husbands fought a brutal battle against the Kurds. To these women, decent treatment by their new jailers comes as a surprise.
Je m'attendais à pire de ce côté-là, mais non, franchement, ça va. Il n'y a pas de violence, ils nous parlent gentiment. Quand on demande quelque chose, par exemple, pour aller aux toilettes, tout ça, il n'y a pas de souci. Donc non, ça va. Ce côté-là, ça va.
Off camera, many women tell us the most radical of them wreak terror within the camp. They even burned the tents of those who criticize the Islamic State group.
Give to us this a child died. Can you just stop?
Sure.
These Europeans dreamt of being treated like princesses alongside their proud Mujahideen husbands. Now, they're afraid they might have to spend years under these tents and want to be repatriated.
I don't even have Google to research what I do by my child because he's coughing blood now.
Khadija has been waiting here for over a year. Now, she would do anything to return to Germany.
I did a mistake. I came here. My children are here. If I have to sit 20 years in prison and I have to pay for it, even the money for that I stay in prison, I would go 30 years in prison. Really, the life here is psychological, more a test than Guantanamo.
Nous sommes des êtres humains. Une fois, on fait des choses justes. Une fois, on fait des choses pas justes. Alors, on a fait des choses pas justes. Et on regrette. On regrette, non? Et alors, la punition doit être toute la vie ou quoi?
The problem is their intentions. They tell us what we want to hear, but we have no idea about what they really think. That's a problem that must be addressed by experts. When they gave themselves up, some of them told us the Islamic State group briefed them, telling them, surrender, go back home to your countries, get your strength back, and we will start again.
The Kurds are overwhelmed with these jihadi brides and their children. They have sacrificed a lot in the battle against the Islamic State and say they are tired of working as jailers for their Western allies. They are now calling upon the countries of origin to take responsibility.